Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire.
Yes, good morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning and it's a delight to be here on Cactv. This is the newspaper review on Morning Dew. I am Mudot Dominic.
Good morning, and I'm Dapo Olorunto. Mudot, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Alright, so quickly we'll go on a break, and when we come back we'll take a look at the quote for today, and then we'll also take a look at the story making headlines around the globe. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire. Cactv.
Welcome back. The quote for the day is from the book of Proverbs chapter 8 verse 17 down to 19. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Verse 18, it says, riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. And last verse, which is 19, my fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. What is the Lord saying in this scripture? He's saying to us that he loves those that loves him. Just like you would not even, take a hater, someone who hates you as a friend. God is saying, I love those who love me, and the earlier the better. If you do that very early in life, sooner enough you are going to have me return that love to you. And when God returns his love to us, we are definitely going to enjoy riches, honor, and righteousness that only God can empower us to exhibit. So God is speaking to you and I today that from today and beyond we should showcase some love. And how do we love him? We love him when we worship him, when we celebrate him, when we see him as the Lord of our life. And we love him more even when we love our neighbors, we love ourselves. That's what God is asking us. Just like he said in that Matthew 22, that this is the first and the great commandment: love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is like continue to love your neighbor as yourself. In these two and all the laws of the prophet. So God is asking us to love him, and he will love you too. The good news is he loves us even before we love them.
Of course.
So this is just an affirmation that if we love him too, we will enjoy.
Yes.
God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Dapo, for that quote for today. All right, quickly, let's take a look at the stories making headlines, and we're starting with the Punch. So what's Punch saying? The first story says strike. FG threatens Labour with contempt charge. NLC adamant. The federal government on Monday asked the organized Labour to shelve its planned strike slated to commence on Tuesday, being today. The government reminded the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of a restraining order issued by the National Industrial Court in Abuja on Friday. The TUC president, Festus Osifo, had announced at a press conference in Abuja on Monday that the labor action would commence on Tuesday, being today, in protest against the alleged assault on the president of the NLC, Joe Ajero, by suspected thugs in Owerri, Imo State. On November 1st, president of the NIC, Justice Benedict Kenyip, had restrained the Labour Center and their affiliates from embarking on any form of strike. The judge issued the order following an application brought before the court by the federal government through the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Chief Lateef Fagbemi San. The Special Assistant to the AGF on Communication and Publicity, Kamorudin Ogundele, in an interview with one of our correspondents, warned the union that any action taken in violation of the court would amount to contempt. Okay, so that's the first story that we have, and we can see right there that NLC is also, threatening the government that they will come back again with strike, and they've been going back and forth on this. And for this particular issue, I quite understand their the agitation. They want a result for whosoever has this thug who actually beat up their president for whatever reason it is. And now if they are coming back again and saying that they want to go for the strike, I think it's a big deal, because no result so far ever since they started this has been given to them, and what they expect is result. So what's your take on this?
Well, for me, I think the major force, the driving force of every economy, it is labor. The labor congress of every nation, is the industrial power behind their revenue and industry and the economy at large. If we fail as a nation to pay attention to the cry of our labor force, we are saying that our economy can go to hell. That's what we are saying. And if we try to go by using the judiciary to intimidate them, to keep them mute at their rights, at their opinions on how they want to be treated, I think we are going to, by that act, shatter possibility of a very good economy. So left to me, I would appeal to both parties, the government, the labor, that they should come to a roundtable meeting and leave out of court, because this is likely to to double the frustration. For someone to say, I'm coming out to hold a strike, that person must have been undergoing some things that has caused that decision. Now if you now say, I'm going to make it impossible for you to now go on strike, but by that act increase that person's frustration. And I don't want the federal government to go that route. I will appeal that they should see a way to seat the leadership of the union and call for a very amicably resolution, in a way that it will be a win-win for both parties. What they want is something they believe the government can afford, and the government should be responsible enough to pay attention to them. Take for instance, when the Senate needed SUVs, as broke as claimed the government was, we sourced for the fund and made that possible. So if the labor, who generates the entire revenue of the economy, who are the striking force, we should pay attention to them and have a dialogue that will bring peace to the economy and to the country.
Well, at this point, I think their major concern right now is the fact that their president, the president of the Labour, was beaten up by the thugs in Owerri, and nothing has been said so far. No information has been given as to what happens, who are these thugs, where did they come from, because they are trying to tell them, shut up, whatever it is, you can't just wake up and say you want to protest. So it means that, are they trying to tell us that we do not have a right to air our opinion, and then come up and say, no, whatever you're doing to us, we do not like it? Now these people are actually fighting for the masses. They are looking out for the masses, and if this continue, if we have a label, which is a group of people who are testing for the masses, and then now they are being shut up, now it means that apparently the masses has no voice anymore, because these people are the voice to the people. And I really hope that the federal government would rather than go back and forth on this issue in court, they bring this this issue to a round table and say, okay, what exactly do you want us to do? These people need they need to be assured that these things will not happen again anytime we say we want to go to the street and protest for our rights. So nobody else will be beaten up. If the president of a union can be beaten up, what then is the faith of the members?
Well, it's a sad story to have had that Joe Ajaero was beaten up and was brutally messed with, and like you said, there has been no statement issued to calm the NLC group
pressure
that
so far.
to say we are sorry for whatever he went through. I think I watched on a network where the governor of his state was interviewed, Imo, where the governor was asked if he would apologize, and he said he has tried to reach out to him that I have forgotten how he put it, but the point line was that there has been no official statement issued to maybe appeal or condemn the situation that he suffered. But be that as it may, the NLC are being restricted by the court not to hold as a strike. My candid advice, I don't want to always sound like anti-government, that they should reach a roundtable meeting where Joe Ajaero and other colleagues of his or members will reach an agreement with the government that this is the way to go, and let's just save the country of further trauma that the economy is likely to suffer as a result of strikes and what have you. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for that insight. So we'll take a look at the second story, and this says Lagos drivers protest last mile extortion, commuters stranded. Commuters were left stranded across various bus stops in Lagos State on Monday following a protest by commercial bus drivers over alleged arbitrary arrest and extortion by officials of the Lagos State Transport Management Authority. The Punch Metro learned that the drivers who also frowned upon the activities of officials of the Lagos State Environment and Special Offences Enforcement Unit withdrew their services, thereby forcing the workers to trek long distances. The protest took effect in most parts of the state, including areas such as Egbeda, Ikeja, Iyanoipaja, Agege, Yaba, and Iyanoiba. Okay, our correspondents who monitored the event observed how the transport workers embarked on a procession at their respective locations across the state. Along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, the protesters were seen marching from the Abulegba area and headed towards the Ilezik section of the road. Trouble, however, started when the protesters met a resistance by some police officers who fired tear gas, canisters at them at the Magoro end of the road. One of the cans of the tear gas also caused damage to the eyes of one of the commuters. It was also learned that some of the protesting drivers forced passengers out of some buses whose drivers were not participating in the protests. This is, a few weeks ago we also had cases of this last mile issue with a driver. I think this one happened along what was this major where we park trucks, where the trucks are always parked. What's that? Apapa, where it was said that a driver stabbed one of the last man and was taken to court. We had that case, over time. So now this again is happening, and I'm really wondering, are these people doing their job? Because when this happens, it affects everybody. And to now see that, some passengers were being pulled out of a bus of a driver who wasn't joining in the protest is a big deal. Now they don't make it mandatory for everybody to join because it is an issue affecting everybody. Now, Lasma, these officials, are they really doing their job? Because now this morning when I was coming, another one of this shuttle bus was also old ransom. For whatever reason it was, because I know that these drivers can be a thorn in the flesh sometimes, but the LASMA are not, they are actually leaving their job and facing what they are not supposed to face. Meanwhile, they are pressing issues. There are trucks who drive on the road, and you need to see the smokes coming out from them. It's choking. They don't pay attention to that. You see some trucks carrying heavy loads that are beyond the truck itself, and before you know it, it collides and and cause accidents, and they are not paying attention to things that are more important. And now to see that this is actually happening, for to get to a point where drivers are now protesting, it means that is a big issue. So what's your take on this?
Well, I think, to the best of my knowledge, I think their role of duty is to monitor traffic and control traffic. Now they have left that point of duty and now have now made
into something else.
And have now made themselves, a large number of them, not all of them, but a large number, has made themselves the towing tool for any car they see around anywhere, in any part of Lagos. Either you park to buy something, and then in the country, in a state where there are no public parks like that.
Do you know, wait, sorry to cut you short. You know that in this part of our country right now, you can't drive on the road and miss your way and stop until you want to ask a LASMA official your way. They are always waiting for you to just do one mistake, just pass one road and tell you that you did not see that there was one signpost. And this happened because, I have to say this because there was a time I was driving with a friend of mine and we missed our way. So we needed to stop. We saw a last man ahead of us and we needed to stop and ask. He just said, no, don't stop. Oh, because if you stop now, the next thing they will come and arrest us and say that we stopped wrongly. They won't know whether we wanted to ask them about our way, whether we missed our way or not. They don't want to know. That is the point at which it has gotten. The fear of LASMA on the road is the beginning of driving wrongly. So continue.
So for me, well, I think what the drivers did yesterday is right, to have held the protest, to seek the attention, to call the attention of the government, to see that they are not being fairly dealt with by their LASMA officials. They are their boss, and the sad part is during election period you see them act very normal because they need people to vote, and then the moment the election is over, they go back to their madness and then they start harassing drivers and all. What? For me, I think the drivers have established their displeasure with how they have been maltreated in time past by the LASMA, and I hope that the government will be capable enough to call them to order. That's just what we can say. It is good that it was a peaceful one, that it wasn't as if they had to kill one LASMA. We saw how the military dealt with them some months ago, where they all had to not wear the uniform for like a whole week. The military landed on them and it was very brutal. We saw how they feared for their lives. So I thank God that the citizens did not go that route, trying to beat them up, because they don't. It's not as if you use gun, you have any ammunition with you, but there you are there oppressing people, so people can actually deal with you. So for them to have say, let's just go the route of a peaceful protest, is a laudable one. It's a kudos to the drivers who are participated in that protest. God
and I also
them.
look forward to the federal government stepping into this and making sure that a quick response is being given, so this doesn't continue. We are already facing too much as a nation, and to add up to it from the officials is a no. Okay, so lastly let's take a look at the last story that we have from the Punch, and this says, join nationwide strike, ASU direct members. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has written to all zonal coordinators and chairpersons of the union and demand that members be mobilized for the nationwide strike in line with the directive from the Nigerian Labour Congress and the trade union. The letter, which signed by ASU's national president, Prof. Emmanuel Osodeke, was issued on Monday night The letter read, "The Nigerian Labour Congress at a joint National Executive Council of NLC and TUC directed all affiliate unions to commence withdrawal of services with effect from 12 midnight today, November 13, 2023, as an affiliate of NLC. All members of our union are hereby directed to join this action of NLC to protect the interests of the Nigerian workers and the leadership of the union. Zonal coordinators and branch chairpersons will immediately mobilize our members to participate in the action. A people united cannot be defeated." It also reported that the Labour Centre on Monday announced the commencement of a nationwide strike. The strike is to protest the battering of the NLC President Joe Ajero and some other executive of the Congress in Owerri, Imo State, on November 1st, as well as the pending labour issues in Imo State. Okay, I think this is part of the things we've discussed in our first topic, but to see that ASU is intending to join the strike is what I do not find interesting at all, because the last strike, we knew how long it took the pupils, and see, we're talking about too much hardship in the economy already, and then to not see that pupils that would have, students that would have finished education long before now are now still facing this issue, considering the fact that a lot is being put into it. Parents are struggling to make sure that they finish up the academic without any disruption of whatsoever. Please, personally, I am pleading that the federal government should pay attention to these things so that the ASU will not join in this strike. Students who are supposed to finish their education since last year are still, finding themselves in school this year. And this year is running out already, which means they will also have to move next year. My younger brother is currently at home because of a strike in their school. That one has to do with the school itself, based on the fact that they are not being paid. So it's really a big deal, and I hope that the federal government step in as soon as possible to see that this is being sorted amicably. There is really not much to talk on this because it's hurting. It's really hurting, and I do not pray that ASU join this, but seeing that for them to have used the phrase that a people who are united cannot be defeated, it means that it's a strong one, and it really calls for a lot of attention. Doctor, do you have something to say to this before we go to the next?
I think it's unfortunate that the leaders of Nigeria who are in power today once benefited the free qualitative education that Nigeria government used to have in time of Western we were then in Western education or something in the days of how that it was a region, the east, the north, the south, so everybody were doing fine, and then they had their education free. It's sad to now see how students will have to go on strike
every now and then, hardly a year
before
without
the school,
strike.
And it's not as if the syllabus is even okay. It's not okay. We see how the maltreat people when they try to go and do their further education, how they intimidate them with their
results,
telling them
that this is not it, you have to start again and all of that.
So it's a shame that we the country, and it's a pointer to the president, because they are still fresh in office. The newly appointed Minister of Education, I think himself, the president, they should look into the matter and see how they resolve all these strike issue, strike on education, strike at the NSC level. It's crazy.